Oh, he has been taken to Fenestrel, to Penirol, or to the Sainte Marguerite Islands. Some fine morning he will return to take command of your vessel. Come when he will, it shall be kept for him. But how is it he has not already returned? It seems to me the first care of government should be to set at liberty those who have suffered for their adherence to it. Do not be so hasty, Monsieur Morrel, replied Villefort. The order of imprisonment came from high authority, and the order for his liberation must proceed from the same source. And, as Napoleon has scarcely been reinstated at a fortnight, the letters have not yet been forwarded. But, said Morrel, is there no way of expediting all these formalities, of releasing him from arrest? There has been no arrest. How? It is sometimes essential to government to cause a man's disappearance without leaving any traces, so that no written forms or documents may defeat their wishes. It might be so under the Bourbons, but at present... It has always been so, my dear Morrel, since the reign of Louis IV. The emperor is now more strict in prison discipline than even Louis himself, and the number of prisoners whose name are not on the register is incalculable. Had Morrel even any suspicions, so much kindness would have dispelled them. Well, Monsieur de Villefort, how would you advise me to act? Asked he. Petition the minister. Oh, I know what that is. The minister receives 200 petitions every day, and he does not read 3. That is true. But he will read a petition countersigned and presented by me, and you will undertake to deliver it? With the greatest pleasure. Dantès was then guilty, and now he is innocent, and it is as much my duty to free him as it was to condemn him. Villefort thus forestalled any danger of an inquiry, which, however improbable it might be, if it did take place, would leave him defenseless. But how shall I address the minister? I think we know by now Villefort ain't delivering this message to the minister. He wants Dantès disappeared. I'm surprised that he just outright says, like, oh, yeah, after going through all that, like, pomp and circumstance of getting up from the table, going to the register, looking through the register, going back to the table, going over to the register, and he basically just ends up saying, oh, yeah, well, sometimes government just wants people to disappear without a trace, no paperwork, no paper trail, and he's not going to be in the registers. I'm surprised he admitted that to Morrel, but I guess back then, what course of action does Morrel really have? That said, curious to see, we are starting to introduce a conflict to Villefort with Morrel out there. If you think about, like, if you allow me a strained comparison, you think of, like, serial killer stories, and suddenly someone's on their trail. They've been killing and killing and killing, but then they realize that someone maybe has their description or suspects them, and they have a new problem they have to deal with. They have to, put an end to the suspicion, usually through killing or making the person who suspects disappear. And that begins to unravel them and gets them caught. I'm wondering if we're introducing a similar thing with Villefort here, with Morrel. Like, he can't make a prominent ship owner disappear. Or maybe he can. I don't know. What do I know? But Morrel asking questions and sticking up for Dantès is going to make things much more difficult for Villefort. I'm curious how he's going to handle that in the long run. But let's continue with our conversation about Bonaparte and his 100 days here. Where does this conversation between Morrel and Villefort take place? They gave 6 weeks. That's basically 2 months. So from March, we got April and May. So April to May of 1815, this is what's going on. The allies that we discussed, Britain, Austria, Prussia, Russia, they are meeting as allies once again to declare Napoleon an outlaw, declare war against him, essentially, and they form another coalition to defeat him again. This time, they're a little more keen on Napoleon's tactics and decide that they are going to invade France from multiple directions. Basically, Napoleon will have to go from the center point of France outward in multiple directions, extending his resources too thin in order to fight all of the armies effectively, while all of the other armies are consolidated at different borders in different directions. So what is he going to be able to do about this? Well, you'd be surprised at what his military genius can do. Despite the fact that time is not on his side, even a little bit, he decides he's going to do something first. He recognizes, and you knew this was going through his head while he was brooding on the island of Elba, that the war was going to be inevitable. So he decides, I'm going to strike them first before they can fully mobilize, and I'm going to defeat them before they can fully unite against me. That way, he only has fewer heads of the Hydra to battle when the time comes. Does that play out for him? I guess we'll find out as we continue with a little bit more of Napoleon and the 100 Days, and boy, oh boy, June 1815. Something's coming for you. We'll find that out tomorrow on more of The Count of Monte Cristo. Until then, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.